Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I will introduce myself first. My name is Atika binti Abdul Halim. My matric number is DPM 20192398 and I am from DPM 5A. This video are about procedure of repossession and how the repossession may protect the hire. So, what is hire purchase? Hire purchase includes a letting of goods with an opinion to purchase and an agreement for the purchase of goods by installment as rent or hire or otherwise in accordance with Section 2, Bracket 1 of the Acta 1967. So, the owner property will be transferred to the tenant after the payment. Items that can be hire purchase such as car, motorcycle, house, and so on. Next, what is repossession? Repossession is the term used to describe the taking back of property after a borrower has difficulty on payment. The lender either repossession the collateral or pays a third-party service to do so. Let's see Act of Repossession. The act is intended to overcome such a problem. The repossession can be executed provided that the payment of installment by the hire must not exceed 75% of total cash price of the goods and there has been two successive difficulty of payment by the hire. An owner has served a notice in writing in the form of fine schedule and the period fixed by the notice has expired, which shall not be less than 21 days after the service of the note. If the tenant does not pay within 21 days receiving the notice, the owner will repossess the goods physically at Section 16 the Act. At Section 16 bracket 1A on the Act said if the payment of installment made amounts to more than 75% of the total cash price of the goods and there has been two successive difficulty of payment by the hire, an owner shall not exercise any power of taking possession of the goods unless he has obtained an order of the court to that effect. So, if the tenant's installment amount exceeds 75% of the total cash price of the goods and there is twice the arrears, the owner has not right to take back the goods unless receiving instruction from the courts. Next, where an owner has obtained an order of court under subsection bracket 1A and he has served on the hire a notice in writing in the form set out in fourth schedule and the period fixed by the notice has expired, which shall not be less than 21 days after the service of the notice, the owner may exercise the power of taking possession of the goods. At Section 16 bracket 1C of the Act said where hire is deceased there must be 4 successive deferral of payment before an owner is entitled to exercise his right to possession. In addition to the 4th schedule written notice, the owner shall serve to the hire a notice informing the hire that the owner intends to take possession of the good. This notice shall only be sent after 14 days of servicing the notice of 4th schedule. This notice shall be sent by registered post. So, after 14 days, the owner will send a reminder notice based on Rule 3(2) of the hire purchase agreement. The second reminder must be sent registered so that the owner can identify the date of delivery of the remind notice to the tenant. At Section 70A(1) of the Acta said, after the expiration of the period fixed in the notice, according the 4th schedule for expiration of 21 days, repossession can be executed. The person who undertakes repossession must obtain a written permit issued by the Control of Hire Purchase. When it has been enough for 21 days, the owner will send pupil to pick up the goods. Where the owner takes possession of the good, the owner shall deliver to the hire personally a document acknowledging receipt of the good. But if the hire is not present at the time, he must send to the hire immediately after taking possession of the good that received. Section 16A of the Acta said, a hire who returns good comprised in a hire purchase agreement within 21 days after the service of 4th schedule shall not be liable to pay the cost of repossession, the cost incidental to taking possession, and the cost of storage. Within 21 days after the owner repossesses the good, he must serve on the hire and every guarantor a notice in the form set in 5th schedule. So, the bank has to give the 5th schedule form to the tenant and the guarantor to give the tenant a second chance to take back the goods. When the bank gives notice of the 5th schedule to complete the agreement under Section 16(3) of the Act. After repossession, where the owner takes possession of any goods under Section 16 of the Act, the hire may within 21 days after the service of notice in 5th schedule. First, require the owner to redeliver to or to the order of the hire, subject to the compliance by the hire with the provisions of Section 16, the goods that has been repossessed. So, after 21 days, the hire can ask the owner to return the goods to him, provided the hire has paid the price together with the interest cost of repossession, the incidental cost of taking possession, and the cost of storage. Or the hire may choose to settle all agreements by repaying the loan balance and cost of repossession, the incidental cost of taking possession, and the cost of storage. Next, require the owner to sell the goods to any person introduced by the hire who is prepared to buy the goods for cash at a price not less than the estimate value of the goods set out in the first mentioned notice. So the hire can ask the owner to sell the goods to anyone introduced by the hire, where the person is willing to buy the goods in cash and based on the price set by the owner at section 18 bracket 1 of the Act. After 21 days, owner give notice of the fifth schedule, and the hire does not take any action. Owner can sell the recovered goods after the expiration of 21 days. Or after 21 days, the hire did not take any action when the owner made a follow-up with the hire and the hire did not want to do anything, then the hire can sell the goods to anyone after the expiration of 21 days. So, the hire may not disturb the new owner upon expiration of the notice. Hire cannot say that he has the right to the goods and the new owner has the right to use the goods without interruption. Let's see procedure of repossession. The first day up to 21 days is the period before the repossession takes place, and day 23 to day 43 and above is after repossession. The first day the owner inspect the hire has arise, as many times arise 2 or 4 times overdue. Next, the owner see the installment payment less or more than 75% of the total goods. After that, the owner can issue a fourth schedule notice to the hire. 21 days notice of intention to repossess. On the 14th days, the owner gives a second warning notice so that the hire will make the arise payment, otherwise the owner will repossess. The last 21 days for the hire to clear the arise, or he want to pay the existing balance. If there is not action from the first day to the 21st day, then on the 22 days, the owner can take back the goods because the fourth schedule has expired. 23rd days, service of the fifth schedule notice. The owner takes the goods and the owner has to submit the fifth schedule to the hire, so he gives hire times to settle the arise or make a loan balance settlement. Hire is reminded of his right to be exercised within 21 days. Before the 43rd days, if the hire wants to return the goods, he will settle the arise payment, or if he does not want the goods, the hire can introduce other to the owner to buy the goods. After the expiration on 21 days, if there is no action from the hire, then the owner can sell the item. Owner can sell the goods to other buyers after the lapse of the fifth schedule. Last content. How the procedure may protect the hire. Procedure may protect the hire if problem arise such as bank negligence. Contents of the fourth schedule notice not in accordance with the provisions of the Act and others. This procedure can protect tenants defending themselves in the magistrate court. The case Chong Seng Yong T.A. Chang Electric Engineering versus Credit Corporation Amber Heights. Plaintiff filed an action for damage against defendants for wrongful repossession of the motor car which plaintiff hired from defendant. The hire purchase price and terms charged were payable by deposit and 30 equal monthly investment. The defendant repossession the car because plaintiff default for 2 installments after service of notice of intention to repossess fourth schedule. However, defendant's employee has received a check from plaintiff as payment of an installment and issue receipt of it before the issue of fourth schedule. It is mandatory that before hiring, the tenant must have arise of 2 consecutive installments when the fourth schedule notice is issued to the tenant. When the notice of intent to recover is implemented, only 1 installment has to be paid. Thus, the equation is a breach of warranty for the comfort of the car is a claim and Serena minor. Defendant to pay damage to plaintiff. Another case, Pang Brothers Motors Sendiri Amber Heights versus Lee Ike Sing, 1978. A car was taken by the respondent on hire purchase with the appellant. The respondents failed to pay the installment due and the appellant issued the Section 16 of the Act. The issue was whether the notice was valid or not. It was held that Section 16 of the Act clearly states that the period before which repossession takes place shall be not less than 21 days after the service of fourth schedule. However, the date specific in the notice was 2 days less than the minimum statutory period. Therefore, the notice was void.
Norma! Ni buat pakar.
Apa terjerit ni? Cik cari siapa?
Kami datang nak tarik kereta ni. Ni surat tarik. Tarik ke bos? Memang tarik ni. Duit ni.
Oh, nak tarik kereta. Ni kak Etika nak tarik kereta.
Dia cakap pasal etika. Puan, boleh saya masuk ke dalam untuk mengambil kereta puan? Boleh bagi kunci? Kunci lah sangat.
Cik, ini bukan Etika penarik kereta. Mai dengar ceramah kakak sikit.
Ceramah? Ha? Ha?
Kak, kami datang nak tarik kereta. Bukan kami nak dengar ceramah Kak ni. Kami bukan nak pergi masjid ni.
Kak apalah Kak? Ceramah.
Ceramah Kak, ceramah.
Yang pertama, tak boleh kacau di depan rumah orang. Yang kedua, penarik kereta mempunyai etika yang profesional. Yang berpakaian kemas, bukan macam encik. Berlagak macam gangster.
Ha? Tak kemas.
Tutup aurat ni. Ada alasan.
Lagi.
Yang ketiga, manakah kuasa EPS encik?
Ha? Apa tu kad EPS?
EPS ke apa ke kami tak ada. Kad jemputan kahwin kami ada.
Cik, kad EPS tu adalah kad ejen perolehan semula kenderaan yang dikeluarkan oleh KPDNKK untuk memberi kuasa kepada penarik kereta macam cik ni.
Ha? Kad EPS? Alah, aku tertinggal lah kad EPS aku.
Kad EPS tu apa?
Kalau macam tu, cik tak bolehlah tarik kereta saya. Saya berhak melaporkan pada pihak berkuasa. Lagipun, cik memang tak boleh tarik kereta saya pun. Saya dah bayar lebih 75% daripada nilai hutang saya. Lagi satu, cik tak boleh tarik kereta pada hari Ahad dan cuti umum. Cik boleh tarik hari biasa sehingga 9 malam sahaja. Hari ni hari Ahad, cik. Hari pun makin gelap. Kejap ada satu kakak nak tunjuk. Mari kita tengok maklumat dalam video ni.
Ini nasihat saya kepada pihak pengguna lah. Apabila mereka ataupun mana-mana pengguna yang didatangi oleh pihak yang mereka dakwa sebagai ejen perolehan semula ni, pastikan ya, ini merupakan kad pengenalan yang dikeluarkan oleh pihak kementerian ya. Ada logo kementerian, ada nombor siri permit tersebut dan tajuk ia ialah ejen pemilikan semula akta sewa beli 1967 permit. Dan di dalam kad pengenalan ini tertera ya, gambar oleh ejen pemilikan semula, namanya, nombor kad pengenalan, nombor permit dan tempoh sah laku. Jadi ini antara butiran yang ada di dalam setiap kad pengenalan EPS. Jadi mana-mana pengguna kalau didatangi oleh mana-mana ejen, sila minta kad pengenalan daripada ejen tersebut. Dan inilah butiran yang perlu ada. Dan ini contoh juga di bahagian belakang ada 6 nama di sini. Jadi kalau mereka gagal untuk nak menunjukkan, bermakna mereka bukanlah seorang ejen perolehan semula yang mungkin yang sah ya. Dan mungkin mereka juga tidak diberikan permit oleh pihak kementerian ya. Jadi yang pertama sekali, setiap ejen perolehan semula ini yang hendaklah memiliki permit tadi dan memastikan permit masih dalam tempoh sah laku semasa menjalankan aktiviti pemilikan semula kendaraan atau barangan. Yang kedua, kalau sekiranya kenderaan tersebut ya berada di dalam premis kediaman ya, dia perlu mendapat keizinan terlebih dulu daripada pemilik ataupun penyewa rumah kediaman tersebut. Katakan kediaman tersebut berpagar, jadi dia tak boleh secara kekerasan membuka pintu pagar tersebut dan menarik kereta tersebut, mesti minta keizinan. Yang ketiga, pemegang permit juga hendaklah berketerampilan kemas dan mengamalkan sikap profesional. Jadi dia tidak boleh berlagak macam seorang samsing ya, tidak boleh menggunakan apa juga atau memegang senjata walaupun kayu misalnya, kayu baseball misalnya, apatah lagi senjata tajam. Yang ini bukan EPS, ini mungkin orang yang samsing ataupun nak merompak ataupun nak menyamun ya. Berketerampilan kemas lah, walaupun tidak memakai tali leher, tapi dari segi penampilan itu kemas ya. Jadi pemegang permit dilarang menggunakan segala bentuk kekerasan sewaktu proses pemilikan semula diadakan. Jadi tak boleh dia nak menumbuk ke, memukul ke, mencekik ke ya, mengugut ke dan meminta sebarang bayaran ke pada masa. Jadi tak boleh melakukan bentuk kekerasan tersebut ya. Yang kelima, sewaktu proses pemilikan semula dijalankan, hendaklah mengemukakan dan menunjukkan yang tadi ya, yang EPS tadi, memberikan masa yang bersabar kepada penyewa untuk memeriksa dan mengeluarkan barangan peribadi kepada pihak penyewa, mengambil gambar dalam dan juga luar kenderaan seperti mana yang beritahu Richard Ami tadi, mengeluarkan senarai inventory tentang keadaan barang semasa proses pemilikan semula barang-barang yang ada dalam kenderaan. Yang keenam, pemegang permit tidak dibenarkan untuk memasuki premis persendirian kecuali dengan perintah mahkamah. Yang ketujuh, pemegang permit hendaklah membuat laporan polis dalam tempoh 24 jam yang EPS tadi ya, selepas pemilikan semula selesai dijalankan. Pengecualian hanya diberi kepada situasi tertentu di mana tempoh masa penuntutan tidak melebihi 48 jam saja. Dan akhir sekali pemegang permit terikat dengan segala undang-undang, peraturan, terma dan syarat, kod etika dan garis panduan yang telah ditetapkan oleh pihak pengawal bagi menjalankan aktiviti pemilikan semula. So pada saya yang penting sekali kepada pihak pengguna ialah mendapatkan, ya sekali lagi senak malu, mendapatkan kad kenalan EPS ni daripada setiap daripada. Kalau ada 5 orang mereka, sekata kelima-lima mereka ni hendaklah mempamerkan kad kenalan ni. Kita tak mahu yang ada seorang yang 4 lagi sebagai backup, dia tak ada. Ya, kesemua kalau 5 orang ni mesti memiliki kad kenalan sebagai ejen polis mula ni.
Nombor kereta apa cik nak tarik ni?
Nombor yang kami nak tarik ni kak, PJZ 9315.
Kalau macam tu, cik je salah kereta. Kereta saya PZZ 9315. Dengan segala hormatnya, silakanlah cik beredar daripada rumah saya sekarang.
Halah, hang salah kereta lah. Hang buat malu lah. Tak mahu cik. Agak
So that's all from me. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.